So when I hear parenting, first thing that comes to my mind is it's a full-time job.
Okay.
And all that, I feel like it's a whole full-time job that does it really pay? I don't know.
Sometimes it just scares me when I think that I can raise that kid and then later they will maybe not take up the values that I would want them to take.
Whether they become what I want them to become or not, the thing is, was I faithful in doing that? Was I obedient in doing whatever God wanted me to do? And if I do that, then I'd have been successful and it will have paid off.
I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah.
I would like to enter it one day.
Yeah. Oh, it's something you're looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to.
It used to be distance, but now it's coming
now
near. It's coming closer.
Yeah.
Hello there and good morning. I am super excited today to host these parenting conversations. My name is Fridah Wasonga. I host parenting conversations on my YouTube channel every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. I would like to appreciate those that have been watching and liking and sharing, on their statuses and on their social media platforms. I really say a big thank you for sharing this wisdom with other people. I also want to thank people that have been commenting with their takeaways and also coming up with feedback about the videos and everything in general. I really say thank you. So this morning I am here with a number of, aspiring and upcoming dads. Last year, I hosted girls that have been looking forward to becoming mothers, and they talked about their expectations and fears and how they would want their parenting journey to be. And you asked, where are the dads? So here we are with the aspiring dads, and they are here to talk about their expectations about fatherhood and parenting, what they are really fearing, and what they would really like to teach their children. So enjoy the show and let me know your takeaways once again on the comment section. Allow me to invite them. Karibuni sana to the show.
Thank you.
So they will introduce themselves and tell us who they are and what they do.
My name is Enock Kiptanui Kiptalam. Yeah, I'm 23. Yes, and currently I'm an intern. Actually, it's a leadership development program at the Nairobi Chapel, Ngong Road. So we are doing leadership development. It's an internship program. It's a 3 years internship program. So I'm in my year 1 on leadership, and it's more leading towards pastoral program. So that's what I'm doing currently. Yes, and I did graduate last year. I did Bachelor of Education, Arts, specialized in mathematics and geography. But for now, it's internship pastoral. Thank you.
Karibu sana Enock to the show.
My name is Festus Muriuki. I'm born again. Currently, I practice accounting. I studied finance. And I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana. Thank you for accepting the call. Okay.
Hello everyone. My name is Derrick and I am born again. I work with Opticom and Life 360, where we talk more about wellness programs, and we talk about wholeness and building capacity of individuals, companies, and organizations. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm 26.
Okay, karibu Derrick. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you on board. And finally.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Stanley Alvis. Yeah, I serve with Institute called Timazi Africa. We're able to reach out to the young people in this country, disciple them, to help them see the centrality of Jesus Christ in their life and how the gospel informs every aspect of their life. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
So we start with you, Stanley.
Yes.
When you hear of parenting, now that will be happening in future? What comes into your mind?
I think the first instance I've always thought that something is distant from me, and I really felt like I have to prepare for it when now I'm maybe in a relationship, courting relationship, and then waiting for marriage. But I've realized that over the years, there are many things I've learned about parenting, both knowing and also maybe unknowing. I've just got them. Maybe most of it from the family background, and I've seen how my parents have parented me, and there are many things that I've learned from them that I'd like to practice it on. So I'm thrilled about it, and I'd like to enter it one day.
Oh, it's something you're looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to.
It used to be distance, but now it's coming near. It's coming closer. Wow, that's nice. How about you, Derrick?
Wow. So when I hear parenting, first thing that comes to my mind is it's a full-time job.
Okay.
With no breaks.
With no breaks, absolutely.
And it is something that makes me think of it when we talk about parenting. Just as Stanley said, I feel like this thing is distant, it's for adults, it's for those guys out there. Turns out I'm about to be one of those guys. And when I look at it from friends of mine who have just gone into parenting right now, you see, it even affects their sleep. I mean, kids have this passion of crying at 2 a.m., and it's all noisy and stuff. And now you have to, instead of planning to go and enjoy yourself, now have to plan for things like child expenses. You have to be there for them, the emergencies, and all that. I feel like it's a whole full-time job that, does it really pay? I don't know. But it's something that comes to mind, that this is a full-time job that you're committed to till the day you die. Even your parent would be 80, but still they would call you. Have you eaten?
Wow. It's a full-time job that you're not sure it pays.
I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe other parents watching will tell us if it pays or not. What do you think? Do you think it pays?
Maybe, as I think of it in terms of one day you looking back of the struggles that you've gone through, and the sacrifice that you had to pay to see that kid become the very kid that now the adult that you see, maybe later in life. But when I think about parenting, I think of a big responsibility from God. That God has entrusted to me that
that point,
that human being, as tender as they are, and to see their growth as long as I'm alive, and to entrust the very principles that God has entrusted to me to that kid. But more so, when I think of it from a negative aspect, I would resonate with Derrick, having to wake up at night, the secret moments, when the child is young, those secret moments, and having to take up roles, switching roles with the mother. I think and when you think about it, sometimes it just scares me when I think that I can raise that kid, and then later they will maybe not take up the values that I would want them to take. So it also scares me in some aspect. Though parenting in its totality, it's not an area that I grew up with. It's an area that I have come to learn in my, talking about maybe 3 years from now. It is not an area that I had given my mind to completely. But it's an area that I would like to venture and grow and learn. Yes.
It was also at least far away.
Very, very. I don't think it was even in my mind when I think about, because previously when I grew up, as I remember, I never had much interest with kids. It's not something that, I celebrate. But I didn't have that much touch with kids. And to a point when before I was born again, I remember sharing with my friends that kids are not one of my priorities in life. Yeah, but today things have changed.
Yeah. Wow, the transformation.
Yes.
Enock, what do you think about parenting?
Okay, so first, mine is much more on building up on whatever has been said by the gentlemen who have spoken ahead of me. Yes, but okay, thinking of it as an investment,
Yeah.
number one, an investment could either pay or you could either gain or lose. But now, that is from a human or
Yeah.
from a worldly point of view, because you raise up kids, you want them to embrace these values and they don't embrace them. That's like you'll have lost in a worldly point of view.
Exactly.
Yes, or they do not grow up becoming what you wanted them to become in a worldly point of view. That you'll have lost. But when they become, you'll have gained in a worldly point of view. But now, from looking at it from biblical lens, it's about faithfulness. God has entrusted us as men, For me as a father, God has given me a responsibility to take care of my kids and even my family, even the wife, to take care of them. So whether they become what I want them to become or not, the thing is, was I faithful in doing that? Was I obedient in doing whatever God wanted me to do? And if I do that, then I'll have been successful and it will have paid off.
Yeah.
But secondly, I think it's also a responsibility. Parenting is a responsibility given to us, and we have to do it with all due diligence, yes, and with reverence and fear of God.
Yeah. It's actually a gift you're given to nurture. Yeah. Okay. So looking back to how we were parented, I'll start with you, Derrick. Would you mind giving us a bit of background of how you were parented, how it was for your parents bringing you up? If there is anything positive you saw from your parents, let's start with something positive first before we go to the negative ones. And it doesn't have to be actually your real parents. It could be a neighbor, the way they used to, correct you, as you are growing, or someone in church, something positive that you've observed from other parents. So let's start with a background about yourself.
Thank you very much. So I have been born and raised in Limuru, that's in Kiambu County, and I've noted quite a lot of positivity in that there's been a lot of patience that my parent has always had with me, lots of patience. And even when it comes to matters like sharing of dreams and aspiration, these people went over and above to make sure that they give me guidance in terms of in line with their abilities at the time and the exposure. Also, when it comes to the truth, is that there has been a lot of transparency from my parents to me when it comes to truth, without having maybe to feel tight in a way. So that has really come a long way in helping me to even in shaping my worldview, because I see things a bit differently. Because when we look at people who have been parenting, and you see, it's not just limited to your father and mother.
Exactly.
Yeah, we even include those people who taught you in lower primary and in primary school. They do a lot in parenting them. So you get that it has shaped even how I handle things, like matters like keeping time and stuff of the sort. And so it has been really, really a good experience. I can say that my parents and mentors have done a great job from their end, because up to date, there are values that I picked when class 1, 2, 3, I still apply them now.
Okay.
Yeah, even from simple things like making sure that things are in order in the house, making sure that I've planned my activities very well, making sure that I take charge of how my time is spent. I think they have really, really played that role over time. And maybe it may have been divine, because both at school and at home, there was a lot of emphasis on how I spend my day and time.
Okay.
And to some extent, I would even be held to account. So how have you been spending your day? Umefanya nini leo, kesho? I hope some of our audience can understand Swahili. What have you done today? The day before? How did you spend the week that was? And so it has really shaped how I view things. Yeah, majorly.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to you, Stanley.
Yeah.
Please start with a short background of how you were parented.
Yeah, I think I would like to truly thank God for my family because one of the things I'm truly grateful to God is how He kept them together.
Okay.
Despite the turbulence and the storms of life, but I think they were together. And I think that also works good. Now it's a plus to the kids now because they are able to see both parents there.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for maybe to be raised by a single parent.
Yeah.
It's something really. But I think I truly thank God for it. And that's one because they kept us united. And I think that's one of the things I'm grateful to God for my parents, how they brought us together.
Yeah.
As siblings, we are now united. And then another thing is how they taught us on how to be hands-on. I don't like that, that whatever you find to do it diligently and be there to do it. And finally, this is what I saw, especially in my dad, and how he used to handle, to handle something when it comes up, or maybe there's, in this case, there's something that's popped up, it's wrong, and how he used to face it head on and deal with it when it arises.
Yeah.
I think it's Niccolo Machiavelli who advises the prince on how to take over Italy and rule it. He tells the prince that being present, it helps you now to see the uprising, the resistance that comes, and it's so easy for you to deal with it and to silence it. And I think I've learned from my dad that he's always present and ready to deal with something when it pops up. Rather than to postpone.
Could you tell us then how that discipline was happening, especially by your dad? Was it warfare?
To a larger extent, I think it was safer to fall in your mother's hands than in your father's hands. It was much safer to be disciplined by your mother than your dad. But I remember I can count the number of times when my dad disciplined me. But it was epic. It was so
It stuck in your mind.
It stuck in my mind. And it was easy for me to repeat the mistake my mom had punished me for, but it wasn't. I don't remember even having done something that my dad punished me for, repeating it again.
I see. So when dad punishes, you know,
hey,
I don't want to fall into his hands again.
I don't fall into the hands of my mother.
Wow. Were you boys only?
I come from a family of four boys and two girls.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, let's go to Enock. Tell us about your background and what positive things you're carrying forward from your parents.
Okay, so for me, my background has not been so much with, yes, it's been with my parents, but not again with my parents because I went to boarding earlier, in standard 3.
Okay.
So it's so early.
Yeah,
but
standard 3 is like 8 years?
Yes. So, but now in that young age, still my parents were there, just I grew up most of the time away from home, but I was with my parents still. They used to show up, and they could come, visit. Especially my dad was so much present in my life, in everything I've been celebrating. He was there, but just being away from home earlier just bring some hassles. But the moment I was at home, it was more the time I'm spending with my parents, especially my dad. My dad is that person who loves to psych you up. He loves to encourage you and to tell you what you can become. So I grew up knowing I can become many things because at one point you could tell me you can be an engineer, another time you could tell me you can be a pastor, another time a CEO, another time, you can be this or that. So his lenses were many. He opened my worldview to many things. Yes. And I think the very positive side of my parenting, of how I was parented, that I can say is my parents' responsibility and sacrifice. So there are people who could just give, yes, in seasons of lack, my dad could be optimistic, and in seasons of abundance, he could be so generous. So you just give,
Yeah, so giving is one of the things you admire, really
yes,
admire.
and sacrifice.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Festus?
Well, I was raised in a family of 4. Well, I don't have very clear memories with my father. I think I only have 2 instances when I clearly remember him. He passed away when I was about 8. So I don't have very clear memories with my father, but I have memories with my mom and how she went out of her way to bring us up. I have very clear and very good things that she really impacted on us, things to do with hard work. She really emphasized that, hard work and, putting yourself out there to really show out, instead of waiting for someone to really support you or provide for you. She really emphasized on hard work, both in class and outside. I was brought up not in a very bad family in terms of academics, so we used to compete with each other.
Not bad family, you mean? Very good academically.
Yes,
you just want to be humble a bit.
So there were those seasons of giftings, and I still remember every morning she would lay up a pillow and we would kneel down and pray. Those are some of the good memories I still remember about her. She was a fierce woman in terms of discipline. I still remember one time she beat me. I mean, in practice of discipline, she was that fierce, but very loving.
Alikuvunja mkono.
Kuniuma. She was very fierce. My mom was extra fierce. So she was one person you would, a family or a neighbor would say, I will come and report you to your mother, and you prefer them to beat you over being reported to your mom. My mom was extra. And I really celebrate that because she being in that position, I'm born in a family of 3 boys and a girl. So she had to manage the boys, and, so I think she had to put up that cap of being fierce. In a way, I appreciate that. But past a certain age, in my primary years, we started living alone. The demands were growing, and now she had to go out of her way to provide for the family. So most of the time she was not at home. So we ended up, past that age, I have not really lived with her past primary years age. So those are some of the things that, well, I understood why she did that. It was for good, because at that point I remember my elder brother and my elder sister had joined university, and she had now to go out of her way, not really university, high school. She had to go out of her way to provide. The nature of her job was it could not allow her to be at home. So she had to keep on moving from one county to another. And I understand. However, it became a gap on my end. It created now I see it. It was a big gap in that we had to bring ourselves up. Yes, she provided, but her presence was absent in that sense. So I celebrate what she did. I celebrate that she had to put herself in that, fitting those both shoes, the father and the mother, and having to provide for the 4 of us. But however, I realized then in the course of her put in all that effort, there grew some gaps in our parenting. I have a twin brother, so we ended up living with my twin brother, and my elder brother and my elder sister then were in high school.
Boarding.
Yes, in a boarding high school. So, we became boys. We became boys, and contrary to what she had brought us knowing, contrary to what she had nurtured us and reared us in knowing about God, we went out of our way and became naughty boys, so to say. I remember one time she came to our house. We used to rent at that point. So where we used to study, she used to provide for everything. So we had to leave home and go to a different place. So in that place we used to rent. So I was the parent to my twin. So I still remember her.
How come? And you were age mates?
Yeah, we were age mates, but I seemed more responsible. Well, I still remember her coming up and asking, how are you doing? Where are the gaps and all that? But I knew somehow we had created some gap between me and her. So there were some things that she could not really catch up with us. We were being exposed at a faster rate than she could catch up in matters, discipline and guidance. But I still remember and really honor that she had to keep calling. She used to engage us a lot on calls. But we've been us. We just went out of our way and became, way worldly and bad boys.
I see. Yes. Now that sounds like something you wouldn't want to happen.
Absolutely.
So that
the gap.
The gap. Yeah?
Exactly.
Now let's start with you now to the negative part of what you've seen in parenting.
In terms of the gap, I didn't know I had parental gaps until I came to Grace Hill. So I didn't know that it was an issue. I didn't know that really shaped me in who I became later in life. Because I had a really hard time trying to connect with my mom. When I got to campus, we could go for months without talking, like 7 months, 8 months, without me feeling the need of calling my mom or my siblings, or just doing life alone. The dependency aspect of me growing up, and I just realized that I'm okay not being at home. I'm okay not calling home. I'm okay not going at home. Unajua tukiwa campus in December holidays, I used to go for missions. All of them. All my campus life, I went for missions when others went home for December, Christmas. I never went. All my campus years. I went once to bury my grandmother. And that thing really, now I see it from this aspect that actually that had an influence on who I became later in life. That somehow I grew independent of my parents and my siblings. That we really catch up. How are they doing? How is the progress of their lives? But so long as I know that they are well and they are in health and there are no major incidences, I'm okay. To a surprise that I got to realize that my brother married. I didn't know. Seriously, I didn't know. It was news for me. And I think
twin brother.
No, my elder brother. My family has been a bit nini, but I celebrate that I have put effort, starting with my mom, that today we can do 5 hours call, 3 hours call. I do 2 hours call and then say, Mom, my airtime is up. Let me recharge, I'm calling in a few. And we call for hours and we can talk a lot. I think it has been effort and nurture from this place, from Grace Hill. I really celebrate that I was able to realize that these are gaps and the much exposure that I had, boys being boys. We went into drinking, we went into, promiscuity being, sleeping aloud with girls, all those things. Really, I still remember one time mom came, and this is something, I don't know whether mom will ever see this video, but I hope she doesn't, that one day she came home and out of desperation that she knew the neighbors would alert her that we used to bring girls in our house. She came home and she asked me, is it true what I'm hearing that you guys are bringing girls over here? And I didn't know what to say to her. So she told me, actually, do you have protective measures? And I could not believe that I'm hearing that from my mom. That was the most weird conversation I've ever had with my mom. Yeah. So do you use protective measures when doing that? I said, wait a minute. So at what point did we leave from this is wrong, this is wrong, to are you protecting yourself?
Yeah.
Because I think she tried her best, but now all she could do was to be concerned about our health.
Yeah.
Now that this is happening,
exactly.
Now what can we do? What can we do? Maybe it has always hit me that mom got to that point, because she used to call, she used to be very concerned about it. But it got to a point where she felt that she's losing the grip in her parenting on us. And those are some of the things that I wouldn't like. And today, as I think about family, one of the things that I communicate, I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I speak to my girlfriend is, one of the things, no matter what job, how much a job would offer, I would never want to be away from my family. I would never, if the job places me away from my family, no matter the benefits attached to it, I would rather do away with it. I cannot live without, I cannot live away from the family that I consider my own, my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
I have grown that strong in those convictions that today I think one of the things that I would not like replaying in my life is being absent for my kids. And I understand from what my mom was coming from, but I see the gap today. I see the gap. And I think one of the things that as a parent I can emphasize is me being present for my kids, me being present for them and seeing them grow. I think it's one of the blessings that, well, I could have missed, but I'm grateful that I'm here.
You have the opportunity to do it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You have an opportunity to do that to your own children.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think God allows people to go through something so that they learn and also teach others.
Sure, that's right.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing intensively.
Right.
Enock, anything negative that you wouldn't want to carry forward to your parenting?
Okay, mine is more like Festus' story. But while I do appreciate the fact that the opportunity to go for a boarding school has helped me to be the person I am today.
Very responsible.
Leading me to where I am, you know, and also giving me the opportunities to achieve my potential academically. It has also impacted me negatively in that I've been I've grown independently. And just being away from family is okay. And and not caring so much, even my siblings, I'm not so much connected with them. And even my mom, the person maybe I could be connected with so much is my dad, because while you're at school, the dad is the one who sends pocket money. You'll call him
He's
dad.
the one who
I need some cash, and he's the one who could come for most of the visiting days, most of the academic days. Yes, he's the one who stepped in that shoe. But for the rest of my siblings, it has been so tough. They are sometimes telling me, what's the problem with you? You are so quiet. Or, are you okay? Do you have enough money? I'm like, no. Just like I thought everyone is doing well. I think that's the negative part that has really, yes. And recently I've been telling myself I'll no longer use going to boarding as an excuse for not connecting with my family again. I'm planning to go home for the festives. I remember in the high school, since second year, I've not been home for Christmas.
Okay.
I've been going for missions, going for conferences. But I've told myself that I just want to be more intentional with my family and to connect more with them as the Lord enables me. So I think that's, so what I love to do in my life is that as a father, I think I'll spend more time with my children, and ensure they don't go for boarding school maybe until high school. The worst case scenario is maybe high school. Yes,
and if there's a chance for a day secondary?
Yes, or even homeschooling. If possible.
Wow.
I mean, yes, because I just want to be with them and enjoy life with them.
I think when light is shed to you, then it's you to go and connect with your siblings. When God allows you to see the need and the gaps, just take it up and move on. Wow. Derrick, anything negative that?
Yes. I would like to, when I look at it from how I would look how I've been parented, you can say that to a great extent there has been a lot of presents.
Presents, gifts.
And not presents.
Wow. That should be my caption now. A lot of presents and no presents.
Because I remember that for quite some time, this is between class 4 and 8, both my parents were away for majorly, so I would meet, let's say, mom during the day when I'm from school, get instructions, go to the house, and I would run that house like it's mine, because technically it was my yard. So from there I would proceed to boarding school in high school. And you see, like other kids, you see the censorship, hey, you cannot watch TV beyond this point. There are these programs, don't watch that, watch it. I watched them all.
Okay.
It was my television. It was my government entirely, to some extent. So, now, what, but I don't remember lacking in anything. So when it comes to now, right now, connecting with the parent is like, there's this version of me that lives in the mind of the parent. I know the truth, the parent doesn't, but the parent thinks they know something about me, they don't. Okay? So you see, like, there's this kind of disconnect. You're looking at, so maybe in the next couple of months or years, I'm going to be someone's father. But then, my parent would feel like, this my son is like this, like this. No, he isn't like that. I mean, there's a very, very big gap, and so it's like you'd be talking to the parent like a friend. Right now we do some lengthy calls, at least once every 2 to 3 days. But still, there is that stage that was skipped there. There's that vacuum, there's that gap. We cannot go back in time.
Exactly.
So right now it's like the parent, ni kama anacheza extra time. Unaona? But then you get that what was lost was lost. And so I feel like presence is very important. Another thing also is some degree of maybe freedom in making decisions and choices, including things like choosing courses and pathways. You see, like parents are like, you have to be a doctor. These people are paid well. Go be a doctor. Be an engineer. Don't be anything else. But then you get that I want to be something else. Maybe an entrepreneur or something. But they're like, no, you got to do this, do this, do this, do this. I pay the fee, so I choose what you get to do. Now it gets to that point when you're like, okay, fine, let me do this course for you. Okay. And so you get that there's need for freedom also, in as much as in as much as the parent, you want your child to move in the right path, at least allow them to use the entire lane. Yeah.
Or probably dialogue. Let them
Yeah.
get to know what is in your mind, as you also get to see what is in their mind, and then maybe come to a consensus.
Yeah, but we can only have dialogues if we have authentic connection. Connections are built over time.
Yeah,
So how will we dialogue if you have not connected?
exactly.
Yeah. So I feel that there is also a great need for that, and I feel like presence is a very, very important thing. But you see the way the world is right now with all these pressures. It is even needed more. Because I look at it from how I've experienced it. Well, I did not have AI or TikTok back then. Right now, there is a parent or parents who are doing that same. Maybe you're doing 2 shifts at work and you're leaving your class 4 kid in the house of class 5 with a phone, with everything. And
a lot of presents.
A lot of come on, sugar Christmas. Oh, take teddy bear, take that, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not there, so I feel it's very important.
Risky. Yeah, it's actually very risky.
Yeah, so those are the things that I feel we can look at and maybe try to correct them from my point because I've experienced them.
Yeah.
And I know how it is like.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I look into the future, well, I can change that part.
How will you change it?
It all boils down to who we start that family with also.
Okay.
And the vision that we have for that family. If it's a shared one, then at least there will always be someone with the children. It's not the same person over and over again. So when I look at it with the way the way life is unfolding, I would see that it requires a lot of intentionality. As I said earlier on, it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
So it's not like you take spending time with the kids as a luxury. You can actually block it on the calendar and tell your work commitment, I'm not available.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I would rather professionalize parenting. I would look at it like you don't take it like, oh, I have some extra time left. Now let me go and see my son.
Divide it between parenting and sleeping. I see.
So I feel like it takes a lot of intentionality.
Yeah.
Just block it on a calendar. You say that, hey, when it reaches 5 p.m., don't call me for work. I'm with my family. Yeah.
So with the seriousness that parents take their jobs with, should be the same seriousness or even more.
Yeah.
That they should take parenting with.
Yeah, because that job is not yours at the end of the day. The child is.
Yeah.
You switch jobs, you don't switch kids.
You can never.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Stanley, what is that very thing that you remember vividly and you don't want to carry forward?
Yeah, I think as I had said earlier on, I think there's some weakness in maybe dealing with an issue when it arises.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that extreme end that maybe this particular scenario, you really need time to solve it. So, and maybe the way you solve when it arose, it might not be the appropriate way. So I believe like there's wisdom needed.
In discipline.
Yeah, in discipline also, because there are some of the cases that you need to take time, and there are also that maybe you need to face them when they arise. So I think that's the thing that I really would like it to be done differently. And also maybe just pray to God for wisdom on how to handle it. Yeah, I'll say that I think, and also maybe unlike the rest of my friends here who maybe received present maybe with the passing exam, for me I used to be told that this is your work. You are not working. It's your time to be in school. You work hard. So I used to work hard, knowing that it's my responsibility. Of course, it's your responsibility, but I believe there's also a bit of motivation.
Ukikuwa number one unapewa gift.
Not like
Hiyo ni kazi yako kukuwa number one.
When you are studying. Yeah, so like for him, I will reverse it because there was presence, but there wasn't those presents.
Yeah.
So anyway, I feel they are also needed. Yeah, rewarding progress is key. Yeah.
So maybe the balance of the presence and the present.
Yeah, because I feel like it's mechanical. I'm just doing this because I'm meant maybe to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you grow up and find that people were receiving presents.
I'm afraid like now you are alone.
Yeah.
You are doing something.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have that intrinsic motivation. You are just doing something because that's what I'm supposed to do for that particular day.
Yeah.
I
You may
feel
actually
like,
go to work and don't expect to be paid.
Yeah.
Because it's your work.
Yeah, it's your work. So I feel those two things, a bit about motivation and also the wisdom in just how to administer discipline. Yeah, there are those cases that will need time for you to solve them. There are those cases that will need maybe you to deal them head on, maybe when they arise. Like maybe when like you are just two kids, you are fighting, maybe your parents love to deal with it, but maybe your sister comes from, maybe a neighbor comes and tells that I've seen your kid is maybe the boyfriend out there, so you know how to deal with it. You love to give it time and know how to handle it.
I feel like I want to ask you to give us an instance when you were punished in a way that that was warfare, that was World War II. If you can remember.
Yeah, maybe one. I remember when I was should be in Form 2 or Form 3. Form 2. It should be Form 2 second term. I think we were sent home for school fees. I think if you're from Kenya, I think there's some struggle with school fees.
Yeah.
And then for me, my schools had already been paid, but I just ready to go home.
To stand in solidarity with your friends.
And also I just wanted. I think I was tired with the meals from the school. I wanted something new. So I went home, and then my dad asked me, "Why have you come?" I said that people have been sent home for school, but I said, "See, you demand school fees." Somehow people walikuwa wanataka in paper. Nikadanganya. So he called the class teacher. And the class teacher anambia huyu hayuko kwa list anapigwa. Anafaa rushe. So I was beaten and I went back to school the very day. And
Without the food.
So I felt like maybe he could have seen that maybe huyu kijana
amemiss
to home. Wacha kai Friday. Let him just stay for this Friday, then on Monday he'll go back.
I see.
Anyway, maybe that's what I'm saying. There's just wisdom. To know when maybe we kid to fatigue. He can't go.
I see. You see, because you had a reason. You wanted a different food.
And I felt like people are not studying in school. So almost everyone has been sent home for school fees.
Okay. Let me hear now, Derrick. What is your greatest fear about parenting or being a father? When you think about you'll soon be becoming a father, what is that fear that comes to your mind?
Okay, so when I look at what I would term as a fear, is that even before that child appears, there's an entire system waiting for that child. They've got plans for what he or she will learn, what they will eat, how they will live their lives, and it's like there's an entire system that has already kind of tried to shape their destiny. And when I look at it from the perspective right now, you see there's several styles of parenting, and you get that there are these kind of parents that let Jayden do whatever. I'm just using just what. Let Jayden do whatever he wants. Kimnyanganya atalia. You know, these, and when the kids go to school, unlike our times whereby you arrive late, you pay for it. I mean,
Punishment.
Yes. You fail to do your work, there are consequences. So now you get that when a child gets maybe rude in school, you get that whoever is the teacher is expected to talk to them, to try to find out how it is. And in my career growth, I've had the privilege of being a teacher at some point. And you get that some have known the pattern. They mess, you talk, they repeat, they mess again. And so it's that like, and you should not show aside that, hey, when you make errors, there are mistakes, and mistakes are costly. No. Or rather, when you make mistakes, there are costs and consequences. And consequences don't make you feel nice. So you look at the greatest fear here is you look at that entire system, and even when you look at the zone that we are going with tech, with also AI, I'm really thinking, how creative will that child be? Will they really be able to solve problems on their own without a technological device? Will they be able to think for themselves? Will they be able to embody the kind of morals that they should have as children from a Christian family? Will these children rather be able to mirror the values that they are taught, in as much as there is a lot of influence from out here? You just look at even the ads, look at even the TV programs that you watch in the evenings, look at all that we have on social media, look at even the kind of ads that we have when you are browsing randomly, look at even the trends in fashion, look at all these things. And my greatest fear is I may do a lot, but you see, when the system is bad, it's very easy for you to lose to a bad system. But so I'm looking for, being that exception, will have a lot of work to be done, and I cannot do it alone. And me and the mother of that child, we cannot do this work alone. We are not with this child full time. That kid goes to school. They have to do something there. And also there is a lot of peer influence and all that. So it really is a fear for me.
Okay. Festus, what's your greatest fear? There could be many, but which is the greatest?
I think for me, it's when I raise a kid and when they come of age, after instilling those values, showing them the way, they will deny Jesus. That after all the effort, I'll raise a kid to go to hell. That really bothers me. It's one of the things that really bothers my heart when I think I'm going to bring a human being into this world, only to introduce them or enlist them to the list of those going to hell. And sometimes you feel powerless because after you've prayed your Lord, there isn't much that you can do. You can only pray. You pray for them. But I've seen a mother. It's clear in my mind. It was around 2009 when I saw a mother standing beside a son who was lynched, alichomwa, and I saw her talking to herself, standing just next to the son who was being burned, caught in stealing in our village. So the son was burnt and the mother was standing there. And that really hit me, and just thought, would I start that pain of seeing myself bring up a child, instilling all those values, and only for them to grow up at some point and choose a different path. I read a book by Charles Swindoll, Parenting. It's called Parenting, Surviving to Thriving. And well, he quotes from Proverbs 22:6 and says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they'll not depart from that way. And that kind of gives me hope that I have a responsibility, and I take it as my responsibility, God-given responsibility, that I'm supposed to do my best, and give all the effort that there is. But after I have prayed and done my part, my only fear remains. After I have done all that, that child may not really take up those roles. And I think that starts out as my greatest fear, that from Malachi, that God expects a God recede from us. What if that does not become a God recede and becomes a tormenting, or instead of being a joy, becomes something different, at a point of regret, that I've had parents say, I wish I never got you. And just thinking about it, my greatest fear would be that I would raise a candidate for hell. I mean, that really bothers me. Yes.
May God help us. Enoch, what's your greatest fear?
So, even as I'm going to share my greatest fear, maybe I'll just encourage Festus that we don't have the power to save. It is Christ who saves. So, once you point them to Jesus, that's it. And
we leave it to him.
Yes, we leave it to him. It's just a place of surrender. So for me, my greatest fear, I think it's just something that I do not have power, or that is, for example, God forbid, death prematurely. Let's say whether the spouse and I'm left a widow, or the kids I'm raising. Because we've seen things happening. And those are things, or even divorce. So that's a great fear for me.
Okay. Stanley.
I think for me, because our discussion majorly is calling for time with the family, more with the kids. Maybe the greatest challenge would be to strike a balance, because there's also the aspect of life you have to be at the working, because you also need to pay the bills. And then there is also church and other ministry work we need to engage in. There's also your friends, some family relatives you need to catch up with. And also that's just your kids, but also there's your wife there you need to do another thing. So to strike the balance, I think something that I really need a lot of wisdom from God towards it. The temptation to fall into just treating them the same. I think also that's another fear, because by nature as a human being, I really like good thing. Like good thing to come out of everyone. So but to treat them alike, I mean, say they have to all meet this threshold.
They all have to be doctors.
I really don't want to fall into that trap of make sure that they have to reach this capability, all of them.
Let's now go to the values and skills. What is that one thing you would want to teach your children, either as a skill or a value, and why? Why that specific one? I know there are many that we want to teach them, but choose one or two and tell us why you chose that specific one.
Okay. A value and a skill that I would like to impart on them. One is the ability to think for oneself independently, so that it's not like they will choose things because people are saying this, people are saying that. No, the ability to reason, think, and decide things independently. And to back that up, I would also have to show them means of doing research in the modern day. Because information is a very, very powerful tool, and data is the new gold. And so if I teach them on how to decide based on one, their conviction, two, what the statistics are saying, and three, not based on how they feel, then it would be good. I think that's lands on skills. And on the values, like them to use the scripture, the Bible, as a constant reference point.
Okay.
Because I believe in the modern day where we have books coming out every other day, and now I think one has proven to be relevant in thousands of years. And so if they make it as their reference point for values, and we start drilling this into them very, very early in the day, as they are coming up, I'm sure that once they get it right at the values, now the skills will come flowing more easily. So those are the two things I would choose. Now they can actually always be making correct decisions, whether I'm there or not.
Yeah. Enock.
Okay, so mine, the value, number one is integrity.
Okay.
And also diligence. So integrity, why? So that they can be able to do the right thing even when no one is looking at them. And then the reason why I'm talking about diligence is so that they can do something, not because they're expecting a result or they're expecting something or a comment from me or somebody, but it's because the work needs to get done.
Yeah.
Yes, so when they have integrity and diligence, they'll fit anywhere. Then the skill that I love them to grow up with is, the discipline of, embracing spiritual disciplines. That is reading the Bible, meditating, prayer. Yes, I want to train them in a way that they love discipline and consistency in, seeking God. And their relationship with God.
Yeah. Festus?
For me, I am just thinking that I like to train them to trust in God entirely and switch their focus from me to Jesus.
Okay.
Because I just realized in the course of parenting, I mean, you also as a parent can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And if they live up to see you or live up to become like you, they'll definitely carry up gaps and a lot of, limitations in a way. I would like them to trust in God, both for provision, for everything about their lives, whether I'm present or dead. I would like to train them to really learn and shift their focus from the parents, because the parent is also a human and they have limitations. They have it's also part of my fear that I may not model the Christ way of parenting, but I would like them to fully train them to rely on Jesus. Whatever they need, that Jesus is their closest friend, that they can always talk to God, they can always and picture that even me as the parent depend on him, and Jesus is the niye kusema kwa hii boma. I would like to shape that in their mind right from the early years, so that they can also confront my gaps. When they see me in gap, they're able to point, this is not the way Jesus wants us to live. So I would like to shape that as both a skill and a skill as a value, really, that they should entirely put their trust in God. And because in this world, and I think in the age that we are going into, if that is not so strong in them, then I fear for them. Because the world, I think the progression of where the world is going to and the way values are downgraded, I think they will need to be firm on their faith in Christ Jesus and not look to me as the father or the mother, but the model that I would like them to take up is Jesus. So introducing that from the very early years, that they can trust him, that he is best than the parent. Yes.
Okay. Stanley?
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm in love with science, so I like them to be observant.
Okay.
Yeah, to really cultivate a skill of observation to observe things. Yeah, both character, like values from people, how people behave, but also just the nature around. And then in the course of observation, they should, I'll try to make sure that the discernment, discernment, now that's where the scripture comes in, to make sure that they really know what truly it is the right thing. And I believe if they have a scriptural framework, it will truly help them to discern that. And our values, for me, just to be patient. Patience. I think that's something I really love to cultivate in their life, Kabisa. Yeah, because there's this cliche says that trust the process. I think there's that bit of also trusting that things grow step by step. Yeah, that you just can't grow.
Or there's no shortcut.
There's no shortcut. I believe, and just to show them that it's joy, there's that fulfillment in progressing. And also trusting the process and building from somewhere.
Okay.
That's what I think maybe it's missing in our country. So in a way to redeem that, because we as a Christian are supposed to act redemptively. For us to redeem that, I think we need to train our kids to truly trust the process, that things grow slowly by slowly.
That way they will not be throwing tantrum. I want a new shoe and I want it now. At 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m.
Wow, okay. How do you envision your child to be like? Like, what is your expectation?
So, what I envision for my child or my children, yes, as the Lord blesses me, number one is just to have holistic children. When I say holistic, is children who will not just be like maybe Christians alone, but they'll know to live, our complete life, our whole life, complete children, not having gaps. Let's say you find a child who thinks you just have to pray and you just sit like that and that's it.
And wait to pass the exams.
Yes, and wait to pass the exams. Now I want a child who pray in the morning, trust in God, knows things are done. Just as Stanley said, things are done in this order, just starting somewhere, building it up. I also want my child to, be strong in terms of godly foundations, in terms of academics, financial literacy. I think that's the part that really missed out for us. You're just learning about financial literacy later in life, in campus or even,
when you've already wasted your health.
Something that you should have learned while you are a kid. So when my children learn financial literacy as early as possible and they start saving earlier, that's what I look forward to. And finally, it's skills. I'll try my best to get my children know some basic life skills, things like swimming, cycling, riding, driving. Those are core skills that they should learn as early as possible. Yes, and maybe last but not least, I love to, as the Lord enables me, it's a prayer that I expose my children. Actually, it's last year that I got an opportunity to travel for the first time beyond Kenya. Yes. So if my child gets such an opportunity to travel, because I was meeting other kids, young kids, you're at the airport, and you're telling them, so where are you going? You're going to Ethiopia. And yes, where were you born? In France?
Okay.
Yes. So born in France, they have lived in Kenya, but they vacated to Ethiopia. So such an exposure makes your child grow up like a global citizen. And that's what I love my children to grow with.
Wow. May the Lord provide the money.
Amen.
Festus, what do you see in the future?
I see a kid who is confident, unlike me. And I feel like I need to compensate the gaps that I had while growing up. Confident, loving God. I would like to see a child who knows that they can rely on and they can depend on their parents to support them in whatever areas that they would like to venture in. that they would like, I would like them to know that I have a mom, I have a daddy who is supportive in whatever areas that I feel I would like to explore, because I would like to support my kid in exploring their potential, whatever giftings that God has placed in them, because I know they'll be different, whatever number they'll be. I would like to help them discover and live out the life that God really has called them to live, minus reducing a lot of expectation on them, because like I wouldn't like to be in that position where I would like my child to become a doctor, like Stanley said. I would like my child to become this and that. I would like them to discover for themselves whatever God has placed within them, and become that supportive parent who is helping them really live out that life. It may be unique, as they are unique, but I would like to support them. I would like them to know that a father, I'm a father who is supportive, and they can count on me or their mother to really support them in living out that life. I also envision a child who is a bit like, I would like a child who is not very stubborn. I pray that my kid will not be a bit stubborn. Maybe a kid who is self-reflective and who really thinks, maybe, sometimes there are things that I appreciate when I see a kid who is jumping. I don't know what comes in me, but I just think, what if my kid is like this? But come May what, I think I will take them as they are, because I know they are different. They'll be different, and they'll be unique. But I would like to support them uniquely. I would like them to be raised uniquely, and knowing that they can rely on me to support them in whatever journey and discover whatever potentials and gifts and talents that God has placed in them. Yes.
Wow. Derrick?
Wow, so I see a kid that acknowledges and actually knows God.
Okay.
Not that goes beyond just belief. They know God. Then also a child who is disciplined and consistent. You see, discipline is the new luxury, because where I feel the world is headed, very many people will be lacking it.
Okay.
And those who have it have an edge. Also, I need that child to have the mind of a problem solver. There'll be so many problems. We already have enough problems, but there'll be more in the future. Whoever solves problems gives value. Whoever gives value has the cash. So, by the virtue of solving problems, that child is going to be adding value to the society, whichever place they will live in, whichever number they are, all of them. Whichever place and space they will be in. I also envision all of them to be way, way greater than their father. So, like, I'm pushing to my maximum, whichever place I'll be, but I want them to surpass that many times over, because I believe that my success will be measured by the quality of lives my kids live when they're adults. That's when I'll know that I have succeeded as a man. Otherwise,
and you failed if
I mean, the ultimate measure of, if you have kids and they get to adulthood, and success ended here with you, and then they're now down again, they're going to start back from Stone Age again, coming up. You see, you shall have failed. You shall have failed. You failed.
Is it up to you?
We know when that child is born and entrusted to you, you have a role to play. And when you look at even cases of maybe those who have made it in life, in whichever field you get that, it has taken the hand of God. And also, you get that the parents who are very, very intentional, by intentionality, I'm not saying that you impose your things on the child. That one will backfire. But then, if you have been very intentional in raising that child, then you don't have to be worried once you release them from your house. Why are you scared if you did a good job? Why are you terrified that they are now going to live alone in campus? Why are you terrified? If you did a good job, why are you scared that you left them alone? So I believe that they are going to be, it's going to be a very, very great measure of success. And so it will take a lot of intentionality. Yeah, because just look at every other part of your life, the jobs that each of us here is doing. Anything you did intentionally at work, very well. Most of the time, it turned out fine, right? And if there's something that maybe you did, but you just touched it and left, you did not do much, you get that it may succeed, it may not succeed. And so that's why I really, really look at parenting like it's a full-time job. And you cannot afford to fail. It's going to be failure in this case is very expensive.
Okay. Stanley, what do you see in the future?
For me, I'll just say one thing: responsible. A kid who's just responsible. That's just one thing I would say. Responsible in terms of knowing what to do and owning the failures. Maybe he's failed in this particular area, he owns them and he works on them. I think for me it's someone who's responsible. In the future. That's what I look for.
Before we finish, how are you gentlemen preparing yourselves for parenting? What books are you reading? What are you doing to add to your knowledge this specific topic of parenting now that it's nearer more than it was 10 years ago? We can start with you.
I think for me, after I finished campus in 2022, then it was a blessing for me to join Team Asia Africa. It's a ministry which I think they are passionate about families. And for the 3 years I've been there, because they usually do those parenting seminars in churches and also in conferences. So I've always never to miss any of them. So I've always been there to hear how John and Maggie and are training, have been facilitating those sessions. And also been exposed to books. I think there's a book I was reading in November called Good Christians, Good Husbands. It's a book written by Doreen Moore, and she does a study on 3 characters, people who changed, who turned upside down in England and even the USA. It's talking about John and Molly Wesley's marriage. Also, she's also talking about Jonathan and Sarah Edward marriage, talking about George Whitfield and Elizabeth Whitfield's marriage, and how they began, all the way from courting, not just the marriage itself, how the courting was, and even towards marriage, and how they raised their kids. First of all, seeing what they taught on the pulpit about marriage, how they lived it out, and now comparing. Because I think all this knowledge we've shared is just one thing, and there's another thing to live it out.
Exactly.
And how she compares it. And I think it's one of the books that made me to truly reflect about parenting, that it begins from where we are, making the right choices in entering one. And one of the comments she gives is, it's better for you to marry late than to marry wrong. Because that's where the rain starts beating you and towards that. Because when the worldviews are different, it will be truly impossible for you to truly parent, because you are having this framework, this biblical framework, and maybe the other party thinks it otherwise. So those conflict between maybe you as couples might have an effect on the kids. So I believe to lay the foundation, better to marry right and the right person with the same biblical worldview, and then from there I think it will be easier.
Wow. Okay. Derrick?
I refer a lot to what's written in the book of Proverbs and other parts of scripture. And also I have conversations with people who are actually parents and hearing their side of the story and seeing some of the flaws and observing. Majorly I learn by observation. There are those parents who are doing it in one way or the other, and I see the kind of kids they have and the outcome is different. So majorly I learn by observation.
Yeah.
I sit with these parents down in casual conversations, maybe at events or at certain forums, and I hear how did they parent their child to give some of these inputs. Some of these parents are old; they are in their 60s. Some of these people are in their 30s. Some also in their 20s. So like I learn more through observation.
Observation. Okay. Festus, how are you preparing yourself for this upcoming? You're even nearer. You're nearer than all this.
I agree. I feel like time has come.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think I have been prepared. I have been preparing over time. Though I still feel inadequate, I still feel unprepared. I remember the first time I thought about parenting, critically or consciously, was when I projected. I was in the media team in 2023 in Grace Hill, and I was projecting a movie for a couple seminar called Like Arrows. So I sat down to think about Cherry and Alice and the way they tried to, they were not born again entirely from the beginning. So they tried to add faith to their mannerism of parenting, but then they realized it failed. Then later they realized Kube, it's now living out that Christian life so that you can model the Christian and the aspect of that legacy, generational aspect. From then, I have been thinking, Kube, this is a very serious thing that I need to pay focus to. And some of the things that I've been doing, one is visiting couples, which I think has really helped me seeing the practical aspect of it. When I visit a couple's home and you look at the way they handle their kids, you look at the way they discipline them, how they negotiate the mannerism of discipline, all that things, and how the conversation between the parent and the kid. It's something that I'm seeing for the first time. So when I visit, I see some things that I never grew up with and some things that I never saw. The other aspect of investing a lot in podcasts, I listen, I consume a lot of podcasts, and entirely reading books. I've studied several books, but I still feel I'm not there. This is a conversation. Actually, when I realized that I would be coming here, I had a conversation with my girlfriend, and we realized it's a topic we need to really give more thoughts about and consciously invest a lot of time into it. But as it is, I'm making those steps, but I think I've gotten to a point now I have to put a lot of huge effort in seeing that happen, because entirely I appreciate how I was brought up, but I would like to do a hybrid of it. I would like to do better. I would like to raise my kids in a better way. So I'm studying books, listening to podcasts, visiting couples, and entirely praying for that future kid, that when they come, I'll be able to present the model that Christ would expect for me to present to that kid.
Wow.
Yes.
Enoch,
Yes.
have you started preparing? Ama, you feel so young.
Well, okay, no, not so young, because I know time is flying. But it's just that my way of preparation is in step by step. So, but what I believe in is, the call to parenting as a young man, as an aspiring father, is a call to leadership. Because as a father, I'll be the leader of the home by default and by default, because that's what God has called us to be as men. And for me to be a leader, I have first to learn to lead myself. Yes, as a man, yes, as a father, I have to learn to lead myself. So what I've been doing this year, my focus has been on leading myself. Yes, my focus has been on my personal transformation and my relationship with God. Yes, so that's what I've been focusing on in preparation for that parenting. But secondly, that's part of the books I've been reading also on personal development, books like Ordering Your Private World by Gordon MacDonald. Yes, we have Developing the Leader Within You that I'm currently reading by John C. Maxwell. Yes, and there's another one that Excellence in Leadership. Yeah, that I've been reading. It's, by Joseph Mudama and Mudama. Those are some of the books I've been reading just to build my capacity as a leader for myself. Yeah, and I think, and also visiting with couples, observation, just as Derrick has said, and Festus. That's what I've also been learning. Yeah, the couples I've visited, visiting with Pastor Robert, I'm seeing how he's handling his boys. Even when, they tend to behave in a manner, he knows how to talk to them, and I'm looking at, okay, so this is how it's done.
Yeah.
Yes, and also there's another couple, there's a pastor called Pastor Lamaz in where we went to last year. His children, luckily I was hosted by him, and I was seeing his children, the way they are grown up. They are young kids, I think 11 and 8 or 7, but they are kids who talk like grown-ups. They are they are kids who are so, they're well brought up, and I'm like, okay, these are the kids now I want.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing that vast knowledge of how you're getting ready for parenting, expectations, and your fears. Yeah. So this video will be here. So when you become parents, we will be watching and seeing and underlining. Stanley said this and this and this. Yeah. So thank you once again for showing up. But before we finish this conversation, please, I would want you to give your parting shot to the people watching you. They could be young men like you, or they could be parents of boys who are feeling stuck a little by the way maybe they are raising up boys. They would like to hear from you guys, especially teens, how challenging or how should they handle that stage of life. So I think we can start with Enock.
So my parting shot, first to the parents who are raising teens, especially boys. As boys we have a lot of energy, a lot of curiosity. So you just need to learn how to be friends with them. Do not be so harsh on them. Just be friends with them and know how to handle them. Understand their energy, and instead of using force or corporal punishment, you can choose to divert their energy somewhere else. You can divert their energy to sports if they love sports. Yes, so that they can focus on something else that will at least reduce that energy. Yeah, and to aspiring fathers, I'd like to tell you that let us prepare, because parenting is not something easy. So you have to prepare and learn to lead yourself, grow in your specific areas, and prepare well, because it's not easy. It's a responsibility that awaits us, and you don't want to be a father who will be a loser because they are unfaithful. You just want to be that strong man who will stand out for their family when their time comes. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Enock.
As a parting shot, I'm just thinking that for you to parent, you have to become fast. The aspect of you becoming the very model that you want to model to your kids. If you want them to become Christian kids, are you a Christian yourself? What kind of a life do you live? You cannot give what is not a reflection of yourself. So first becoming the very person that you would like your kids to become. It's so important. For example, to young people who are aspiring to become fathers, is the kind of life that you live, would you want to see that in your kids? And to the parents, do you live that those values that you want to project to your kids? If you don't live that Christian life, it's not possible for you, because I have learned that children do not learn through what you say, but the kind of life that you live. So entirely a call for self-investment so that you can project the same to your kids. Thank you.
Okay. Derrick?
Wow, thank you. So this would be my parting shot. I heard this quote somewhere. Strong men create easy times create weak men create difficult times will create strong men, will create easy times. And where we are headed, we're headed to a zone where we have a lot of ease, where we have a lot of things with convenience. And if you do not train your son in a way that he can be a man who can lead, a man who can be relied upon, someone who can be responsible or disciplined, then he will be the one to create the hard time for the third generation, for the next gen. So to make it easier for him and for those who will come after him, you just have to train that child in discipline. Don't be scared of disciplining the child. Don't be scared of course, channeling that energy of the child to the right direction, showing them the truth as soon as you can. And also, I would like to encourage the parents, as my friends have said, that you cannot teach what you're not. You cannot give what you don't have. So by the time you're talking about you teaching them to be strong, you have to embrace strength yourself. Otherwise, for children, learning is more caught than it is taught. It's not what you say, it's what you model. You may say that, hey, I want you to be this disciplined, but if you yourself, you lack discipline. For example, you tell your kids to keep time, and you never keep time. They will not keep time. They'll walk in daddy's footsteps. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Thank you, Derrick. Stan?
Yeah, since parenting is only practiced in an institution called marriage, and over the course of human history, we realize that it's an institution that the devil has always attacked. It will be necessary for an individual to think about his walk with God closely as he prepares for marriage, because an institution that truly there is spiritual warfare. I think this is something that maybe you might assume, but you need God to truly journey with you and help you. And also, these kids, these children whom we are talking about, they are a reward from God and a heritage to those whom God loves. Yeah, and I believe God is the one who will give them to you, and it's for you to truly pray. Yeah, pray and pray, Lisa. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much once again, gentlemen, for coming. And thank you to our viewers who are watching us today. I hope you have taken away so much from these aspiring dads. Please let us know on the comment section. And please share this video. Let other young men, aspiring dads, watch and see that actually parents prepare for parenting. It doesn't just catch you by surprise and you just feel, voila, I am a parent. From today, I became a parent. Please prepare. Yeah, let's take this journey as one that will transform not only yourself to be a parent, but also the children that you're parenting. And as we also parent these children, just trusting that the Lord will help them to turn out the way we want them to become. And we will give glory to Him. So thank you once again for this session. I would like to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so, and hit the notification button so that you'll be notified every time there is a new video on my channel. My name is Fridah Wasonga, and I am so happy to host you today. It's a bye for now.
Bye.